So this is a weapon that people have always been obsessed by. This is a heavily requested weapon that people absolutely love, and while I understand that it's a cool weapon, I never quite understood the obsession. So maybe it's time we give it another shot. The weapon I'm talking about is the Mutalist Cernos, a fairly weird bow that does primarily impact damage with a little bit of slash puncture and toxin. It sports a 15% crit chance, a 2x crit multiplier, and an absolutely massive 49% status chance, and it leaves behind a little cloud of toxin wherever its arrows land. Getting it is relatively straightforward, you just get the blueprint from the market, though you will need a fully built Cernos to turn into the Mutalist. So let's give this a shot and see if it can win me over, shall we? I'm pretty excited about this because I think there's a lot of fun to be had here. First things first, an adapter. I think Merciless is absolutely going to be the way to go here. We are not going to run Galvanized Chamber, we're not going to run that either. We're actually going to run Split Flights here. This is just a really fun mod. I don't think Galvanized Aptitude works on the Cloud, but I think it's going to be worthwhile because, well, it still gives you a ton of status, plus it will increase our single target. So I think we're actually going to run Galvanized Aptitude on this, even though it doesn't work on the Clouds. I think Blast is going to be really fun with the Clouds, and secondly we do Corrosive with just High Voltage because we already have the Toxin. What? What do you mean I get 8 Corrosive, 6 Blast, and 123 Electricity? That's nonsense. What? What do you mean? So it's proccing Corrosive, and Electricity, and Toxin from the Cloud, and then Blast as well? That has got to be some weird interaction with the Cloud. Oh well, time to add Elementalist. I hope the Punch Through doesn't mess this up. I definitely want some fire rate on this for Split Flight, so let's run Val Acceleration and utilize that dash. And we need to reform not that. We need to reformat one of the V's into a D, and I'm actually going to move Galvanized Aptitude in there to save some points. There we go. I guess we could finish it off with Prime Firestorm. That should affect the Cloud, so we could get a bigger Cloud. More overlap. That sounds good. I mean, it's weird, like really weird, but it works. It strips armor pretty well. I don't think the Blast is doing much. I think the vast majority of the work here is being done by Electricity and direct hit damage, thanks to Galvanized Aptitude. I wonder what happens if we put in Malignant Force. We lose a bunch of damage, because that makes a lot of sense. This weapon is weird. You know what, I'm just not going to question it, it works, it's fine. Honestly, my best guess here is that some of the mods are being combined and added to the Cloud, whilst others are being added to the arrows? Maybe, I don't know, it works though, so it's fine. What if we do Vital and Heat? We get 2.6 heat. Electricity. That... What? Vital and Heat does seem quite good. Yeah, this is more like a normal bow build. You just have the Cloud to proc some extra status, which for a bow is quite nice because bows don't tend to proc a ton of status. Let us see if it is any good. I mean, it produces a lot of numbers. It's just that the numbers are quite small outside of the direct hits. Like, this works. Yeah, this totally works, but it's not tickling my fancy. I think we might try something else. Single target's quite meh as well, actually. Let's go back to the original setup with the, like, oddly high electricity with Corrosive and Blast. You know what? Since the Cloud doesn't seem to be doing an awful lot, I think we go for Heavy Caliber instead of Prime Firestorm, which could be fun with Split Flights. I genuinely can't tell whether this is better or worse. It should be better, but maybe the stat page is just lying. Maybe the arsenal just doesn't know how to calculate this weapon properly. It feels like it's clearing better, but the life support is telling a completely different story. Okay, one last attempt. Vital Sense and Hunter Munitions. Ladies and gentlemen, we're officially Sweat Lords. Maybe not, we are not running a faction mod. Could we maybe run internal bleeding? Nah, I am still not impressed. Like, this build is pretty decent when you get some nice slash procs, but like, maybe on its own it's like a decent weapon. But here is my question to you, Mutalist Cernos lovers. Why not just turn this into the Proboscis Cernos? It's way better. That's... Yeah, no. Like, maybe I'm just doing something wrong and I'm building it the wrong way, and if I am, please do let me know in the comment section down below, but from what I've seen so far, I am not impressed. So, here's the final build for the Mutalist Cernos. We have Split Flights for multi-shot, Vital Sense for crit damage, Rifle Elementalist for status damage, Galvanize Aptitude for a ton of status chance and Condition Overload, Hunter Munitions for slash procs from crits, Vile Acceleration for a ton of fire rate, Critical Delay for crit chance, and then Rhyme Rounds, which combines with the innate toxin on the weapon to give us Vital. And finally for the Arcane, we have Primary Merciless for very easy access to base damage as well as a bit of reload speed. I actually looked up a bunch of Mutalist Cernos builds because I wasn't quite sure I was building it correctly, but yeah, people generally do at least one of the things that we've tried in this video. It's just that a lot of the time people will use Rivens, which on the Mutalist Cernos are quite spicy because the Riven disposition is very high. And while the weapon isn't necessarily terrible without a Riven, I feel like if you don't have one, you're better off upgrading it to the Proboscis, which will absolutely destroy Steel Path with a relatively basic build. So here is what I'm going to recommend. I would recommend you give this a shot, right? And if you like it, that's awesome, you can get a Riven for it, you can have a very spicy build, but if you don't, it's not a big deal because you can just upgrade it to the Proboscis eventually. I already made a video about the Proboscis, you can find it on my channel, it's awesome. But anyway, that's it for the video, so I thank you very much for watching, as always guys, and I hope you've enjoyed it, and I would also like to extend a special thank you to all the channel members. Thank you very much guys, I really appreciate your support, it means a lot to me. And I'll see you next time, bye bye.